Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Crossroads with Cam. Today we got a very special guest. We got an athlete influencer. I don't even know. He does all the things. We got Cole Sterling. What's up, man?
Yeah, what's up? What's up? Thanks for having me, man. Excited to be here.
Yeah, how
This
you
my
doing?
boy right here.
So tell me a little bit about yourself for the people that don't know you.
Grew up always like hooping, playing football. Thought that was my identity was in sports. Throughout high school, um, growing up, only playing sports, doing all that, and then I got hurt my senior year of high school, and that's really where,
Oh,
and that's where things kind of went downhill because I thought everything that I had lined up was gonna work, and then the Lord had a different route for me. Um,
dang. Okay.
and so wasn't able to finish my senior year. Was able to still go play college basketball. Never ended up being able to actually play though because the Lord shut certain doors.
Mm.
uh, Found a new road in social media. Was able to do what I love to do, when it comes to just recording content, doing all that. And now I've been doing that for like the last 3 years now. And
Wow.
not being able to play basketball also opened up a door. I'm a high school basketball coach right now at a Christian school here in Florida, so I get to teach these kids every day, not
Wow.
just how to play basketball, but how to be a man and live for the Lord.
Man, that's awesome, bro. I didn't even know all that. That's a great testimony. That can actually change a lot of people because sports, I was going to actually bring it up. Sports are such a big uh, topic when it comes to like teenagers and people in our generation growing up. It's kind of what we
Right.
put ourselves into a lot of the time when we identify ourselves with that, like you said. So that's powerful. Yeah. So you do basketball. You've been an athlete. We actually met through boxing. So tell me a little bit about that and how your boxing journey went.
So boxing kind of came out of nowhere. I'm not gonna lie. I did like boxing classes when I was little, and then randomly last year, um, became friends, really close friends with this one guy. Met him at my church, and he got me into boxing. And from there, I kind of just fell in love with the sport. Not even gonna lie, I never thought I would be boxing. But I fell in love with the sport, and since then, been in the lab every day, getting ready for more opportunities.
Man.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how that happened.
Yeah, I guess that's another part of the plan, though. Something else that you didn't expect just came out of nowhere, and you're using it. How did you end up going to church to begin with? Like, where does that background come from? Because I know you talked about sports and how you got hurt, but when did that become like a reality for you?
So growing up, generations of pastors in my family. So growing up in the church, never really not in church every day, and just kind of building that foundation from when I was young. And since then, just really just been locked in and focused on keeping the main thing the main thing. That's what my mom always tells me: keep the
That's
main
good.
thing the main thing, and just always focused on that.
Dang, man. Yeah, that's something we all need to hear today. Honestly, there's a lot of distractions nowadays. A lot of things that we get clouded with, and the first thing should be the first thing. That's really good. Today, I wanted to actually talk about boldness and like not being ashamed of your faith because a lot of people, our generation, I think, are kind of scared of showing it because of social media and insecurities and just comparison overall. But I think it's important for us to all like remember to still show Jesus through how we live, even if we're not saying it all the time, even just through how we live and just not being ashamed of who He is. And I know that one thing about you is you know KB and you know his music too. And I think didn't you walk out to his song after your fight?
Yeah, I did. I did walk out to one of the "Let It Rain" remix that he did.
Yeah, that's awesome. So how do you feel about like sharing your faith through stuff like that?
Um, for me, and I said this on an. This is the second time recently I've asked this question, so I've been thinking about it more, and really just being able to do this, I feel like I wouldn't be in this situation if it wasn't for God trusting me to put me in these situations.
Yeah,
Um, Being in like the event, like that EFC event was a little bigger than I thought it was going to be. I'm not
I
gonna
know.
lie,
Me too.
and I don't think. And then recently I was on IFL, the IFL
Yeah.
card in Miami, and just being able to handle a platform. I don't think previously when I was doing this, I would have been able to trust myself with the little bit of a
Mm.
platform. And then so now being in a place where I'm secure in my foundation, really feel like the Lord is able to trust me now to put me in a situation to praise him. So it kind of just works hand in hand, in
Yeah.
alignment.
Yeah, I guess it does go back to like remembering to give him the glory for where he put you at, because
Right.
it's not just us that gets us into these big situations and opportunities. It's like we were there for a reason, and God put us wherever we are for a reason. I feel like, I mean, even the way I met you through boxing, now we're doing this, talking about him again. So like everything kind of links up because of his plan. Um, and yeah, that event was bigger than I thought too. One thing
Right.
I tried to do is I wore my cross like when I walked out, which was kind of fun because I was like, I want to show people,
Got to.
even on the way out, it's like that's first. It doesn't matter what else. How do you get your strength and like things like that from God? Because like it's easy to say we're always like He gives me strength, but how does that work?
Constant meditation in the spirit is big
Mm.
for just trying. It's very hard, but trying to continuously walk
Hmm.
in communion with the Lord, and just in constant prayer, and surrounding myself with the right people. Cut my
Yeah,
circle down completely.
that's
That
a
was
big
the
one.
biggest thing for me. I cut so many people out of my life just to make sure that I'm in the right place. And right now, I've got the best people around me. Got the best motives. Just being able to stay, yeah, in communion with the Lord every day.
Yeah, constantly. I think the Bible says pray without ceasing, which is hard to understand when it's like a new Christian, someone new to the Bible, someone new to
Mhm.
the whole thing. But it's like for me at least, it's not like I'm just always just sitting there praying, but it's like through everything I do, everywhere I go, it's
Right,
constantly a thought in my mind, like talking to God about it and through it.
right. That's true. That's good.
Yeah. So what's the other thing you said? Oh, people around you. Yeah, iron sharpens
Yeah.
iron. How do you find that good community?
Really, just it's no one new in my life. It's people that I've had in my life that I've
Okay.
known are best for me, and then the people that I've had in my life that I know aren't, and cutting
Mm,
out the ones that aren't, and just because like for the last years, I know who's not good for me. It's the choice of actually being like, all right, I'm gonna
yeah.
separate myself from those people so I can separate myself from the ill will,
Yeah.
and keeping myself in the right. And so being able to cut those people out and keep the right people, kind of strengthens myself, not only
Mm,
spiritually, but that strengthens me mentally, being able to have real conversations with people on a daily basis now.
yeah, for real. It's like you become your five closest friends. That's the one quote I like because
I
it
like
really
that.
is true. If you're surrounded by a bunch of people that don't care about one God or two like improving themselves, if you're just around people that just are like bums, then that's what you're gonna be. You
Right.
know,
Exactly.
it really does come down to that circle. And I think the more people you have, it's the harder it becomes to have stronger connections. Because like at one point in my life, I had a bunch of people around me and I started to realize it was kind of toxic because in a way you need the close core friends that give you like those values and like help more than just people you know.
That's good.
Yeah. So do you still do sports? Are you still into boxing and stuff?
Yeah, so I'm looking at another fight, possibly two fights in March. Um,
Okay.
IFL, I'm gonna stick with IFL, doing everything with them. Hopefully, get an eliminator belt chance. And then the next hype card, looking at that, depending on who they give me for that one. Still looking at options, and then basketball, still training every day, coaching. So
Yeah.
everything when it comes to sports is still rolling strong.
Yeah, because it's interesting that you got that IFL opportunity too, because that's opening more doors for you too.
Right.
Like, what belt is it? The same? Is it like a different belt or what?
So some of their events are with the ICB, some of them aren't. The one that I
Okay.
was just on wasn't, and then I fought an exhibition, so it didn't count.
Oh,
And then
okay.
so the next one will, it should be ICB. If it's not, then it's an IFL belt.
Okay.
Um, it'll either be I'm moving down to light heavyweight, but I mean if they give me someone that excites me in the cruiserweight, then I'm gonna have
I
to handle
know.
it.
I see you posting the names, calling out that one guy. Who's you're trying to call out recently?
So I got called out by this kid, Tata Kai.
Oh, so he called you out.
Yeah, he called me out on, I don't know if you know who Lil Joey is, but on his podcast, and then
Mm.
really cool dude, someone that I definitely want to get in the ring with. Me and him are actually, we've been talking a lot. He's a pretty cool guy.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, we're looking to just, go to war and maybe link up after and have some fun and talk.
That's good. I was gonna bring up actually about boxing and like being a Christian. What do you think it's like for like the line of talking trash but also promoting versus staying true to yourself?
That's the hardest thing, and me and my team, we talk about that all the time, is me wanting to be known as the guy. Like, I want to be known by my opponents as, oh, I'm fighting that guy who's a Christian or the guy who
Hmm.
loves Jesus. Like, that's what I want to be known as. But at the same time, it's hard because you got to promote a fight.
Yeah, I know.
Boxing is more business than it is actually getting in the ring and making sure you're taking care of yourself. And being able to promote a fight with this upcoming fight has been the best. I mean, we're calling each other out, but there's really no ill intent behind it. We're not
Hmm.
talking crazy trash. Um, I've yet to really talk trash. The first fight, I told him I was gonna knock him out, and I did. So it wasn't really trash talk. It was just me letting him know it was about to
You
happen.
just were speaking truth.
Yeah, but and then the last guy I fought, really cool, humble guy, also a Christian, and
Oh,
so
cool.
it's been real easy. I'm waiting for the guy though that takes it a step further,
Yeah, yeah.
and
Because once someone else takes a step, then it's like, okay, what are you gonna do?
yeah, then that's when I'll get tested, because I like that kind of stuff. Playing basketball, I was always the trash talker, but
Yeah, me
never gone
too.
far. Boxing, it's easy. I've seen to take things pretty far because I mean
Oh
you're getting
boy.
in there to hurt somebody,
Yeah, like you're gonna be fighting them, so it's hard not to let it get to
right?
that point. Which I do see it. It's like, kind of fun though. Like I think there's a big line where where it's like, okay, we're just talking trash
Right.
versus getting personal and like
For
that
example,
kind
your last fight was like a perfect. Like y'all made it
of.
entertaining. There was nothing like crazy behind it.
We tried to sell it. Yeah,
It was good. It was good. I enjoyed that.
yeah. I brought a cupcake to the press
Yeah, you did.
conference. He wrestled me in the weigh-in. That was fun. That was
That
fun.
was wild.
Bro, no, that wasn't scripted either. That wasn't planned. Like he just randomly. That was crazy.
Because I remember because Trap was talking trash to Trey Guess and their old teams were going at it, and
Yeah,
I was standing behind Trap. We were all talking trash to the other guy, and then I turn around and you and Dennis are on the floor.
he tried to choke me out. I was like, "Holy
Yeah,
cow!"
bro pulled a Dylan Dennis on you,
I
and
know, I know. Uh,
jeez.
it was fun. A cool, interesting thing about me and you is we're actually really similar because I came from basketball too. Like I played basketball all of high school. I was kind of team captain for my school, and then I am an influencer, and I'm also a Christian, and I box. So
Right.
we're
That's
pretty. There's
fire.
a bunch of parallels between me and you, which is cool. What are you doing now for your faith wise, like for a daily basis? How do you keep it first, like you were talking about?
So first, waking up, making sure I'm in prayer, in the Word. Right now, I'm studying Ecclesiastes, fire
Okay.
book.
Yeah.
Staying involved in church. I'm involved serving every week,
Yeah.
and then really just being open with those around me. Like if I'm struggling, letting them know, like, hey
Yeah.
man, this is what's going on. If I'm not struggling, also letting them know, hey man, this is what's going on, and just trying to remain strong because I find in like it's times like when I don't have anything going on, like I'm waiting for a fight, I'm waiting
Hmm.
for an opportunity to open up, is when the enemy likes to kind of sneak in and deter your faith and
Yeah.
try to push you into things that you weren't like necessarily thinking about. And so this is normal. Like it's not normally hard when I'm up when it's like leading up to a fight or leading up to a basketball game. That's normally when I'm the most locked in. But right now when I'm just chilling
Yeah.
is when mentally it's easy to waver away.
Yeah, that's the thing for me too, actually. It's like it's in the waiting seasons where it's really the hardest because you
Right.
let your mind starts to overthink things. The enemy tries to convince you of the opposite of what's true and stuff.
Mhm.
What's the best way to handle that though? Like what do you do um, on a practical level to like keep yourself in the right mindset?
Honestly, just prayer,
Yeah.
staying in prayer. Not like rebuking the enemy anytime that I
Hmm.
hear a voice necessarily or of doubt or anything other than the will of God, is just rebuking that and
Yeah.
staying away and letting the enemy know that, putting him on notice that whatever he says isn't going to happen. He's got no authority over me, so
There
just
you
letting
go.
him know that on a daily basis.
Wow.
How do you handle that?
Yeah, so in those seasons, I really have to worship. Like I gotta make it. It's kind of like it's not just a going to church and worshiping. I have to make it like a routine of giving God time for just Him, prayer and worshiping outside of it, like being with anybody else. It's like I gotta have that alone time with God, and that's hard sometimes when you're doing other things and you start to like make to do lists and you're doing everything. It's hard to keep that time. But
Hmm.
when I do that, that's when when I have the situations I gotta do that.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah,
Worship is huge.
it is, and it's a crazy topic because worship is more than music. Like if you're a new Christian, you don't really, I guess, grasp the concept of like what worship is.
Hmm.
But on a deeper level, it's like you're surrendering whatever that is to God, even if it's a problem or if it's a burden. You're like giving that to God.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Do you have any favorite worship songs or anything that's gotten you through tough times?
Yeah, so right now I'm really Upper Room has been my favorite
Okay.
worship group right now. I like their song "Open the Scroll." I
Yeah.
love that one a lot. Listening to like more of just I like worship groups that will flow in the spirit and just kind of just like not make things up, but just like start singing whatever's the Lord's
Oh
bringing to
yeah.
their mind and just kind of just sitting there in the spirit and just basking in what they're singing.
Yeah. One of my favorites has been Available. You know that song Available?
Yeah,
That one I love because it's always like I've always had a kind of a struggle with finding like where I'm supposed to go, like what path I'm supposed to take in life with like career and things I'm supposed to do. And I always bring it back to that song because it's like, okay, God, whatever's going on in my life, it doesn't matter because I'm keeping you first and I'm available to your plans. That song, I love that song.
that's a great song.
I got to ask you a question that I've asked every guest so far. What's your favorite Bible verse, and why? And why?
Let me think, because I got a lot. It's
There's
six.
a lot
Like
of
for me,
verses.
I get a verse. Like I'll get a favorite verse, like depending on the season that I'm
Yeah,
in.
me too. That's how I am.
Let me see. I don't have it memorized, but Second Tim. Let me pull it up. I got my friend just handed me a Bible.
Hey, okay, what a good friend.
There we go. There we go. All right, yeah. It's Second Timothy 4:1 through 5. I'll read it for you.
Okay.
I charge you in the presence of God and of Christ Jesus, who is to judge the living and the dead, and by his appearing in his kingdom, preach the word, be ready in season and out of season. That's my favorite part, is where it says be
Ooh.
ready in season and out of season. Reprove, rebuke, and exhort with complete patience and teaching, for the time is coming when people will not endure sound teaching, but have itching ears. They will accumulate for themselves teachers to suit their own passions, and will turn away from listening to the truth and wander off into myths. As for you, always be sober minded, endure suffering, and do the work of an evangelist, fulfill your ministry.
Wow.
I would say that's my favorite.
That's like a whole mission statement. That's good.
Right.
I
Yeah.
gotta go back and read that. Dang.
Yeah. It's Second Timothy 4:1 through 5.
Okay. So why right now is that sticking out to you?
So I would say social media wise, I haven't been in a complete waiting season for the longest, but I'd say for the last year, spiritually has been a waiting season.
Okay.
So keeping that verse close to me and just knowing that like right now I might not be in season,
Mm.
but I still have to be ready to fulfill the work of my ministry at all times and just to not waver away and to stay
Okay.
grounded.
That's a good one. Dang. Okay. Yeah, that actually interesting you bring that up is there is a difference between like spiritually waiting and waiting in our life. So
Mhm.
what's that like? Like how do you differentiate between those two?
Spiritually waiting, I would say so just waiting for the voice of the Lord, and sometimes it
Mm.
can come as a whisper. So just staying silent
Mm.
and just in meditation, just waiting because when He tells you, you know it's Him,
Yeah.
uh, and not trying to make conclusions about what it is that I think I'm supposed to do, and just keeping in close connection with the Lord at all times, and then
Yeah.
mentally keeping myself in a right spot with the people around me.
Yeah. There's a very discerned voice. Like when when it's God, you know it's God.
Right.
For someone who doesn't really like have a faith background, but they're just listening in, like what is the difference between like that voice? How do you know? How do you know it's God?
Here's something that a pastor once told me, and it's if you go looking for it, you will find it, and
Hmm.
it comes with a lot of different things spiritually. But if anybody's watching and they're not sure, I hate to be the one to explain what I've experienced from God because I don't want to be disrespectful in the way that God could do more, like
Mm.
for somebody else in a moment, and for me to say what God has done for me could be downplaying what He could do for somebody else. And so, I would just say, if you're curious, go look for Him. He will make Himself known.
Okay, that's good. The Bible, like it says, seek and you shall find. So
Right.
that's and the more we, I guess, even if it's like just reading the Bible, the more we do that, if for starters, for someone who's just now getting into a relationship with God, I would say like start with the Bible because that's God's word. Like if you don't know how to hear God anywhere, that's God's word first and foremost. So the more you get into that, you start to know what God's character's like, and then you know, okay, that's God talking to me.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Is there anything right now that you are struggling with, and that your spiritual life has helped you with?
Struggling, I would say more of like not giving up on the dreams. Like I know God gave me dreams for a
Mm,
reason and aspirations, and just staying strong and not giving up on those because I know there's a reason why I want to do certain things and why boxing came up and why certain things are happening right now. And
yeah.
just to stay grounded in those dreams and just give them to God consistently, I'd say has been the biggest struggle. And
Yeah.
then just not give up and try to find something else.
Yeah, I keep seeing that actually, like on social media too. God gave you those dreams for a reason. It's like
Hmm.
it's 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 not easy to see when you're in the frame, but once you get out of it, you can see the whole picture. And it's like, okay, there's a
Right.
reason why God has me there right now because He has to get me here by taking me through all this stuff. So
Right.
yeah, don't give up on those, man. There's a lot for you. Gen Z, we're both Gen Z.
Okay. Yes.
What do you think? I like this conversation. I always bring up Gen Z because this generation has so many so much, identity problems, all this stuff. What do you think is like the biggest problem with our generation and what we can do to fix it?
I would say the biggest problem is everybody. So the term influencer, I think, is so big because it might not seem big to certain people, but the most money right now is being made on is internet
Yeah,
money,
for
and
sure.
people are looking up to people that don't have their best interest.
Oh, okay.
And even for me to call myself an influencer and mess up sometimes, I like to call myself more of a creator because I don't want people to look for me for complete influence.
Okay,
I think
that's
that's
good.
people try to find their influence from certain people that entertain them.
Hmm.
And sometimes it's not, well, most all times that's not the best way to find that. It's to find it through Christ. And
Okay.
I think we're moving away from certain things. Like our parents grew up in a completely different like time, and it
Yeah.
was. I like to think it was a lot easier for them because they didn't really have as much internet that and access that we do now. And I think the enemy will use whatever he can, including the internet and including people like that are influencers to deter them away. And even if they're not like a bad so-called influence, if they're not pointing you towards Christ, then it's not the right influence.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, any other influence. I think that is pretty true with us. We take influencers and almost listen to them religiously. Like
Right.
in this a lot of people just since it's so accessible, I guess, on our phones, it's just there's always uh there's a reason why like marketing and advertising has gone to influencers because people listen to them. So,
Mhm. Yeah, rather than just creating content, people are trying to use a voice that they think they have
mm.
to influence people on a subject that they have no clue what they're talking about.
I think that is one of the biggest problems.
And people are listening to it.
Everyone thinks they know everything and really don't know anything, and everyone's
Exactly.
believing them.
Exactly. It's insane.
Yeah, I think it goes back to Jesus because the way we live right now, If we just look at like one of the gospels, it shows us how we should handle certain situations uh,
Right.
and things like that. And if someone's ever like lost in how to handle something, we got to go to the Bible instead of all these influences first, because that can take you down the wrong road, honestly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's very true.
Now, at the same time, there is what I like to do, and why I'm doing this is because there's an opportunity to reach people through social media. Like
Right.
there's always a light where there's that like darkness. So
Mhm.
I think it's better to use it as a vehicle to reach people than as like your life.
That's good.
Do you think that anybody has, or you've influenced anybody over like your content?
Yeah, so I'll get DMs randomly from people that for some reason trust me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and So I take with that what the Lord wants to give me and point them in the right direction. Like if there's like people randomly DM me and say, "Hey man, I seen that this one post you made about the Lord, and I'm curious,
Mm.
what's up?" And just giving them little things here and there, just making sure that they're good. And I think the biggest thing that a lot of people don't do is following up with somebody.
Oh
So I respond to every DM. I follow up with people. I don't ever want to like leave somebody hanging because
yeah.
I remember being in like middle school reaching out to people and they would never text me back or whatever. So being able to respond to somebody and make them feel loved,
Yeah.
and that's the biggest thing for me is just being able to point somebody in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, it showing how Jesus loves us starts with us loving people like he did. So even just like a conversation with someone is bigger than we think, because for them it might be a huge that someone went to talk to them. Because I remember when I was younger, I didn't have a lot of friends, but it was hard to start those conversations. So when someone does reach out, that it shows a lot. It shows a lot about the character and everything.
That's good.
Yeah, it's what do you think like for people that are trying to be influencers, going back to what we were talking about, like us, like people that are trying to do that, what's the biggest advice we can give them on how to keep it the right way, you
Yeah,
know?
I love this question. So when I first started, I was always concerned about the views
Mm.
and like, and then once I had a video hit a milli, then the rest another one, and it just never had the same satisfaction.
Yeah, then you're always seeking like the same level.
Exactly. You're seeking more rather than just having fun with what you're doing. Because the
Yeah.
moment you're worried about what you're doing and worried about getting views, that's the moment it becomes a job.
Mm.
And if you can make money without it actually being a job and doing what, if you can support yourself, support those around you, obviously that doesn't come. It takes a long time to
Yeah.
grind, and people don't understand that doesn't happen overnight to anybody.
Yeah.
Um, the people, my buddy told me yesterday because we just started a podcast and we were just talking about some things, and he said the people that look like it happens overnight was a video that was their first video that went viral after like 6 years of them making
Oh,
videos.
yeah,
It
bro.
looks like it's overnight, but the grind is crazy behind it.
Yeah, the behind the scenes that people don't see, all the work makes that one video like it's a different way to see it once you know what's going on behind it.
Right.
Like even for
Exactly.
me with Quick Church is my like newest
Hmm.
thing on
Which
social
is
media.
fire. Everybody follow that.
Thank
I
you.
love that. I love
Thank
tuning
you.
in.
I appreciate it. I was getting like maybe 1,000 views a video, and then but that went on for a few months, and then eventually after staying consistent, one got like 300,000. So it's not like
Consistency.
it wasn't even like the video. It was because I kept posting every day. So yeah, consistency is a huge thing with social media, because you don't see what's all the work. You just see the one video that's like, whoa.
There's so much people don't realize like these big influencers and creators. There's a lot of work that goes. It's more than a 9 to 5. There's a
Oh
lot more
yeah,
work than just like a regular 9 to 5 that goes into these. It's continual 24-hour planning, make sure everything's good, set up.
constantly trying to improve the next thing, the next thing. Yeah.
Like what I used to do is go to the park and film basketball. And I mean, you're a basketball player. You don't have a good day every day. And
Hmm.
so going there and trying to make certain shots and certain moves on actual like good basketball players was tough.
Yeah.
I would have to go out multiple times a day, try to get certain clips, and that was an insanely like painful tasking thing that I was doing for like at least 3 years,
Yeah,
just trying to make something work.
that's good. Yeah, not every day is gonna be your best ever, and with anything.
Exactly.
Yeah. Wow. What's your podcast called?
The Fair Enough Show. It's a faith-based sports podcast on all things updates.
Let's go.
It's we don't really want to call it much of a podcast rather than a talk show because right now we're
Okay.
we're doing a video aspect of it. We are dropping. We're filming again today. We're dropping another one on Spotify here soon once we
Okay.
get all the cover art and all that done. But just clips, show, and yeah, man, we're excited about it. It's taken off pretty quickly.
That's awesome, guys. Go follow that if you like sports, because that sounds like a cool thing. I'm gonna tune in next
We got to
episode.
get you on there too.
Let's do
We
it,
we
bro.
got to
Let's
get
do
you on
it.
there for
And,
sure.
and eventually, we should do something in person. We should do a podcast in
We
person
should.
because
We
we're
should.
not that far. Like you're up
Right.
there pretty close, so that'd be cool
It's only
too.
like an hour.
Yeah, we gotta do something like that. Well, thanks, man. Thanks for everything coming on today.
Appreciate you for having me.
Yeah, do you have any last words for the people watching?
Let me think. Yeah, so God's not gonna give you something you can't handle. There's
Okay.
always a way out of your situations. Stay strong. Don't give up. There's always something better around the corner. So just keep going. Keep
Let's
your head
go.
up.
Where can they follow you?
Instagram at I am Cole Sterling, YouTube Cole Sterling, TikTok Cole Sterling, and now I'm on Kick. So
Okay.
Kick at Cole Sterling. I'm gonna be doing streams, and so you can find me there in person at least 5 days a week now.
All right, bro.
So,
Good luck to you with all of that. God bless you. Thank you for coming on.
thank
We'll
you.
talk
Thank
soon.
you for having me. I got you. Thank you.
All right, see ya. And thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Crossroads with Cam. Hope you enjoyed this one. Cole Sterling had a lot of great things to say. He's one of my great friends from boxing and influencer, all this stuff. I've gotten to connect with him on a cool level through faith. So it's been cool. Thanks for watching this one. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.